y'all. Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 15, episode 2. So let's get into it. Before we get into it, you guys, we're going to get a little spicy. First things up is Chara Shady Mother's Day post. And happy Mother's Day to everyone that celebrated. Shouts out to my mama. But, you know, to all the good ones. I want to preference that to all the good ones, to all the good single moms, non-single parents, single fathers, adoptive parents, parental like caregivers and guardians, and foster parents. Shouts out to all of y'all, the good ones. I want to put an emphasis on good because I read and saw too many stories on TikTok and Twitter about how crappy people's moms were. You know, childhood trauma is real because them stories, I was like, whew. So, you know, shouts out to the good ones. So Sheree posted this on Mother's Day. It says, motherhood is not a hobby. It is a calling. It is not something that you do if you can squeeze the time in. It is what God gave you time for. Wishing a happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers out there. Make sure to tune in / set your DVR for the newest episode of hashtag RHOA. More pictures to come. Hashtag she's a glam mom. So I did see the pictures of the baby on the episode, but before I watched the episode yesterday on Monday, not Sunday, but on Sunday, I saw on Twitter, people posted pictures of the baby on the People magazine article, and she's a beautiful little girl. You know, shouts out to Cairo and the baby mama. Well, is she a baby? I don't know. Shouts out to them, you know, the family unit. The picture that they took that this comment was underneath, or the caption was underneath, beautiful. Sheree's kids are beautiful. I mean, they're adults now, but shouts out that they got her genes and not Bob's. But, you know, nice family. We all know she was throwing shade at Kandi. Kandi already got it from Marlo, where Marlo pretty much said she don't be making time for her kids. And then Candy's rebuttal to that was posting a video of her hanging out with her kids. My thing is, I agree with what Sheree said. I know y'all love Kandi right now. I know y'all love her right now. But the truth of the matter is, in Candy's situation, you actively planned for those kids. So you shouldn't be squeezing in. You should be making time for them because they didn't come to you by way of accident. You actively got a surrogate, paid money for that lady to house them children, and they are here. That's my thing. Like, but then again, it's coming from Sheree, and who is Sheree? Sheree's an easy read, so I would never take anything Sheree said about me to heart because it's Sheree. And Marlo shouldn't be saying anything because you are still struggling with being a parent. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's Sheree. I wouldn't take it, but I do agree with, like, in that situation, you should be making all the time because you actively brought them here. The next thing is Kandi did a Speak On It with Kenya, and I told y'all I don't watch Speak On It. I begrudgingly watch the after shows, but I don't watch Speak On It. But on All True Tea's page, that she posted clips of the Speak On It, and the ones that I watched that stood out to me, they talked about Kim's divorce and I was about to say Marcel, Eva's divorce, and how they're wishing them Godspeed. They still don't like Kim, but they're hoping that everything is going well for them. They hope that Eva and Michael can reconcile if they can, or if it can be fixed. But Kandi says she's not trying to be in a spot, so she's actively working on her relationship with Todd. They then talked about Sheree and how they really felt like Sheree wanted her relationship with Martel to be seen, and how it did feel like a PR stunt, and they expected better and more from Sheree. They then also talked about Sonya, how they feel like Sonya, they know Sonya's a good person, but for some reason she has this blind loyalty to Marlo and Sheree. And my thing about it is, there's clearly fractions in this group. Like, you got Mayetta, Kenya, Drew, and Kandi on one side, and then you have Sonya, Sheree, Marlo, and Courtney on one side. And my thing is, it seems like Sonya was able to connect a lot faster with Marlo and Marlo and Sheree versus Kandi and Kenya. But I also feel like Sonya's trying to be in the middle and like help bridge the gap, because at the end of the day, like, nobody wants to watch two feuding groups. That gets old. There should be some type of camaraderie between y'all. And Sonya's trying, so I can give her that, but I do understand them looking at her like, I don't know about her. She a little sus. You know what I mean? And then Sonya did an interview with Beyond the Velvet Rope. I know they have a YouTube page, and I think they also have an Instagram. And All True Tea posted that clip. It was like 8 minutes. And basically, they talked about this show. Sonya talked about us getting a lot more information about her like storyline and how she's going to open up a lot more. She also talked about how she doesn't feel like everyone was gunning for Kandi. They were just stating their grievances with her, but Kandi handled it well. And then she said she felt like Kenya was the most guarded in her personal story this season. A lot of people took flack about her saying that Kenya was guarded about her personal story. I feel like everyone's tired about the whole Mark thing. So I feel like her talking about Rio is her way of, shifting the narrative. Also, Kenya been on this show long enough to where like I can give you a season where you're not that interesting. And I kind of do agree with Sonya, which I don't think Kandi is getting like ganged up upon. I really do think people are just stating their grievances. Like, it is what it is. But let's get into this review. So the episode opens up where we left off. We're still at Ross's birthday party. Kandi and Courtney still getting into it. The Martel situation is going on with the ladies in the corner with Monyetta, Kenya, and Sheree. So we're going to first start off with Courtney and Kandi. Kandi pretty much letting Courtney know, like, sis, if you want to get active, we can get active in this place. We can start to rearranging furniture and everything. If you want the room and the atmosphere to shift, I can shift it for you. And Courtney is still going off at the mouth. Now, I do believe what Courtney is saying because Kandi said on Speak On It, she did ask about Courtney. So I feel like what Courtney is saying is true to a certain extent. I don't think Kandi was doing all of that. But then again, Kandi and the Kandi Coded Nights, whatever what she want to call her crew, they're messy. Her mama messy, they're messy. So I believe the mouth that Mama Joyce has on her, Kandi has on her. So I believe she probably said some slick stuff about Courtney. You're just not going to get me not to believe she didn't say that. But I do feel like Courtney was doing too much because Kandi didn't meet you with the same energy. So when she matches your energy because you was getting aggressive, she got aggressive too. Like you had an attitude, so she got an attitude as well. So you then see Todd come from behind and usher Kandi to another side of the party. And then there's like Don Juan around her, another person around her. Don Juan asking like, what's going on? Are you okay? And Todd is asking her, are you all right? Trying to calm her down because you can visibly see that Kandi is irritated and starting to get a little irate. So then Sonya is telling Courtney like, sis, you was doing a lot. You doing a lot. There was no need for you to get that way. So then you have Marlo popping up and Marlo like, girl, what's going on? And Courtney's telling Marlo what's up. Marlo in her confessional talking about, y'all know therapy works, you guys, because I'm the only one at this party on my best behavior. Then Marlo is like, Kandi and Courtney is giving the J-Lo and Mariah treatment. I don't know her. It's giving very much that. So you see Todd, Don Juan, and this other lady usher Kandi out into the lobby area of the party. While that's going, you got the whole Martel situation. Kenya letting it be known that Martel slid into her DMs. Sheree is like, show me. Show it to me. Kenya low-key was kind of like not wanting to show her. Like she was hesitating. And I'm like, you can't do that. I hate when people do that. If you got tea and you telling me you got tea, show me the proof, sis. Show me the proof or give me the full story. Don't be trying to give me bits and pieces. I need to know everything if you gonna tell me that you know things. So Martel comes over because Sheree tells him to come over. Monyetta is like, well, we just want to make sure she okay because every time you come here, we seeing articles and news articles about how you out here seeing other people. And he's like, no, when I'm in Atlanta, I'm only with her. So then Monyetta is like, so does this person like not exist? Or have you stopped talking to this person? Martel gonna be like, no, I'm saying this on period. That made no sense to me. He didn't answer the question, which makes me believe that you probably was seeing somebody, but who cares? So then Sonya walks over to the group and she's like, girl, you need to come telling Sheree, Kandi almost fought Courtney. It's a lot going on right now. You need to come get your friend. So then Monyetta and Kenya are like, what? So they go out into the lobby area to check on Kandi. You got Don Juan trying to act like he was really involved in the situation when he wasn't. Talking about, y'all know Candiana came out. And I was like, wait, stop. I was like, you weren't even in that altercation, sis. Well, then let me not call him sis because I know how some men get about that. But you wasn't even there, bro. Like you were asking her once Ty got her, corralled away, asking her what was going on. So what are you talking about? Talking about I was trying to get between. You weren't trying to do nothing. He always want to be seen sometimes. So they're like, Candy, what's happening? So before that, Sonya went to go talk to Candy, and Candy feels some type of way because Candy's like, well, Sonya, if you knew that lady had an issue with me, why would you invite me to a party and not give me a heads up? And I agree with Candy. Like, why you gonna let me go into the lion's den, sis? I'm not David. No, it's David and Goliath. Was David in the lion's den, y'all? I know it wasn't Peter because Peter is an apostle, right? Or a disciple. I need to start going back to church or read a Bible story here too. But Candy feels some type of way because she like, Sonya, why would you not tell me? And that's understandable. Like, don't send me into a situation where like I'm, what's it called? Where like I don't know what's going on and we're supposed to be friends. Sonya's whole thing is like, well, no, I had a conversation with her and she said she was going to talk to you. She ain't tell me she was going to do all of this. She did not tell me she was going to do all of this. So we then have a moment where Sheree brings Courtney, some other lady, out into the lobby area with Candy. And Sheree's trying to get clarity because she's like, this is my friend. Like, you're my friend. What's going on? And Candy's like, I don't want to talk about this. Candy has shut down. She's like, this is dead to me. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this no more. Which I understand. Like, I'm like, girl, I'm irritated. Like, you tried me. You tried me. You tried to test me. And I don't like being tested. So Kenya is like, well, why is she out here? Saying to Courtney, because you was like, she just tried to get up in her face. Why is she even out here? So things shift. The ladies end up sitting down, and Sheree starts talking to them about, well, y'all was telling me about this whole situation with Martel. You end up seeing Sonya get up. She was like, it's my husband's birthday. I ain't about to argue with y'all. I'm about to be about my man, my man, my man. So she goes out into the lobby area. The altercation begins to ensue. So they start talking about the DMs, and Sheree's like, well, show them to me. And she was like, I feel like y'all should have told me this in a different way. And Candy's like, well, you always tell us to tell you things. And Sheree's like, yeah, but like, where's the proof? Like, nobody's showing me proof. Y'all are just telling me this without proof. So they then go and sit down, and Kenya brings up about the whole DM, and then Candy co-signs by being like, yeah, we did see the DM, like it was deleted. So then Martel comes up, and then you hear Kenya being like, ooh, you're so aggressive, Martel. She was joking, but you could tell in her body language she was uncomfortable. I don't think Kenya should have called him aggressive, and I don't even like Martel. It's a pet peeve of mine of when people outright call other people aggressive when they're trying to defend themselves. Like, here's the thing. Because I felt like this whole situation was mad stupid. I'm just going to call a thing a thing. I felt like this whole situation was mad stupid because they end up showing what they said was the DM, and the DM was sent in 2020. I think it said August 9th, 2020. And it was him like subsequently thanking Kenya for being on live with Carlos King because they blacked out his name, but Carlos King came out and said that was him, giving kind words about who Martel is. And Martel I feel like, was doing a lot when he kept putting his arm across them to like show them. But I feel like if you gonna try to like embarrass like this man, or like really not embarrass, but blast him in front of his girl and then in front of an audience, of course he's gonna be defensive. So I don't feel like you can't say someone defending themselves is aggressive when you are trying to like out him. You trying to like put his business on blast. You know what I mean? So things took a turn because Martel started to get disrespectful. And I feel like Kenya just matched the disrespectfulness. Martel wanted to be disrespectful, so Kenya got disrespectful. Martel was like, you probably accept all the DMs that come into your inbox. And Kenya was like, what? And I thought she was offended by the comment after that when he was like, and if I texted you 2 years, he was like, it doesn't matter if I effed you 2 years ago. It ain't happening now. And he walked away. Kenya got mad, got up and was like, no, Yeah, okay, let me make sure. Because he said, I don't care if I was trying. No, he was like, I don't care if I was trying to F you 2 years ago. So then, all of, like, Kenya, like I said, they were matching each other's energy. Martel got disrespectful. Kenya got disrespectful. And I'm not that type of person that's like, men and women can't fight. If you want to get nasty, I'm going to get nastier. So they're going back and forth. Kenya gets up and was like, why are you cussing at me? Like, why are you cussing at me? Like, what's up? Like, no, I'm a queen. And Martel's like, and I'm a king. So they going back and forth. Sheree's in the middle because Sheree gets up and after he said what he said to Kenya and was like, whoa, no, 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 no. We're not going to be doing all of that. And so then Kenya calls him a piece of you know what. You got Todd and everyone like in the middle. You got Heath, who is, Mayetta's husband near Kenya, like everyone was trying to de-escalate the situation. Cause then Kenya said, once a cheater, always a cheater, you effing piece of, the S word. So it shuts down right there because then Kenya starts telling Sheree, like, if he can talk to me like this and he don't really even know me, what makes you think he's not going to talk to you like that? And she was like, he's exhibiting the same energy that Bob exhibited. And then they flash back to when Bob pretty much was making light of like the domestic violence that he was like, doing the Sheree, and Kenya was the only one in the car, like pretty much standing up for her and saying like, that's not funny. Then Kenya talks about her situation with crazy, like cracked out eyes Matt, and I was like, I've been in a DV situation, like you got to nip that in the bud. You can't be with people like that. And then Sheree gets mad and she was like, I did not expect y'all to be like this. Like, I just wanted to bring my man to the party, and then this happens. So then we see everyone leave. Like, everyone leaves the party. I think the only people that were still at the party was Marlo and Sonya. You then have Sheree and Martel hop into the car, and Martel is pretty much like, she lying. Like, I don't like being lied on. And my thing is like, again, I feel like this whole situation was stupid because it's something that happened 2 years ago, or maybe in Kenya's words, 6 months ago. And it's like, if it wasn't something recent, to me, recent would be like 3 months, then there was no need for this to be something to talk about. And it doesn't seem like he was trying to holler at Kenya, but I don't like how I'm seeing people be like, advocating violence against Kenya. I told y'all, I have newly found like for Kenya. Like, I don't like love her, but I like the lady. Like, when I say love, I mean like as a character on this show. I don't agree with people saying that like she gets what she gets, because no, I feel like both of them were being disrespectful and they just matched each other's energy. The whole aggressive thing, I do think she didn't need to call him aggressive in the beginning, but then things did escalate to get aggressive once, things got to going. I also don't feel like she should have walked up over there, but if you gonna be disrespectful, I'm gonna be disrespectful. So it just felt like both of them were doing too much to me. Kenya did too much. Martel was doing too much. I don't think anybody was really in the right, in all honesty. All right, y'all. So we finally see Drew. And I'm going to try with Drew. I really am. But I just don't see it for her. I'm going to try. I just don't see it for her. And someone actually asked me why I don't see it for Drew. And the truth of the matter is, Drew gives stunts and shows. Her and Ralph give stunts queens. They give paid actors. Nothing up until this whole Alzheimer's situation with her father felt genuine to me. And I'm going to just keep it all the way 100. We find out that Drew is back from Chicago with her oldest son. Ralph was at home with his 2 kids. Reed, they were trying to make a bouquet for her and welcome her home. Unfortunately, we find out that her father has Alzheimer's and he's currently in a nursing home. And her parents are still married, but I guess it's pretty hard dealing with someone that has Alzheimer's. And she talks about how, sometimes her dad remembers her, sometimes he doesn't. And their connection is through music. And that's why she really, music was her first love. I don't know about that, but I'm gonna give it to her. It was sad. I'm not even gonna lie. I did feel touched when they showed the video of her playing her music for her father and his mouth open when the mom was like, "That's your daughter," and he realized, "Oh my God, that's Drew." I thought that was very sweet, but it was also sad because I love my daddy. And I would be heartbroken if he didn't remember me. Even and same with my mama. If my mama didn't remember me, I'd be heartbroken because I rise with my parents. So I felt for her. And it only confirmed that Ralph is dumpster juice. Because why did you think that being at Ross's 40th birthday party was more important than taking your ass to Chicago and supporting your wife? And after seeing my parents support each other with their ailing like parents, it's like that's what you're supposed to do. You're a team. You were supposed to be out there being beside your wife's side and consoling her as she watches her father deteriorate, and you took your ass to your friend's birthday party. Dumpster juice. So she's talking about she was in a group called Mo Tempo. She also talks about how she the Beyonce in the group. I don't know about that. They then show her song Already Know. I'm gonna give her a chance. Just like I gave Candace a chance. The only issue for me is Drew's music. This song right here gave very much for TV, okay, so y'all know, the pop stars are the fake rappers and the fake pop stars that they put on sitcoms. It sounded like music like that. And I'm trying to give her a pass because it reminds me of The Game. Because on The Game, I remember she was selling music too on that show. And I'm trying. But I don't understand why they use the cover art of, the pictures of her cover art is her and Ralph in their reunion looks. It looked cheap as hell. And I ain't like it. So she ends up finding out that Courtney is Ralph's long lost cousin. She also asks about the fight that happened between Courtney and Candy. And she was like, who was Candy fighting? And Ralph had to let her know, my cousin. And they laughed it off. We then have a scene with Sonia and Candy. Pretty much Candy is looking at Sonia side-eye and looking her up and down because she's pretty much like, sis, why didn't you tell me about Courtney? As well as Sonia puts her foot in her mouth when she didn't even need to bring it up about how Courtney called Candy's fans ghetto or Candy ghetto, where I guess Candy and Escape were performing at some concert, and the fans that came out, Courtney was kind of surprised of the caliber of them. And Candy asked Sonia, well, what did you say when she called me ghetto? And Sonia was trying to backpedal and be like, well, no, I told her, no, I don't think she's ghetto. And Sonia was like, I think she was trying to say she's worldwide, I said, Sonia, no, you didn't. You didn't say nothing. You laughed with Sheree. So stop, sis. Stop. You got caught. Sonia wants to be the bone collector, but she's not good at it because she don't know how to maneuver. She gets tongue tied. So then we have this scene of Sonia talking to Ross about having a second baby. These confessionals suck this season. I'm sorry. Nobody's giving it to me. Sonia and this all this huge wig on the side of her head. I don't like it. It's giving praise dancer chic in the confessional. Candy in this fro, I don't really like the fro. I feel like it looks costumey. Had the fro been a little bit shorter, they took off a few inches, maybe it would have slapped me, but it's giving fake. And we know it's fake, but it's it's not giving, it's giving that you were playing dress up. And then Kenya with this struggle, blonde, Beyonce, bang wig. I don't like it. It's an atrocity and I don't like it. So we have this scene of Todd and Candy going to Old Lady Gang. Our baby Melvin shows up, and then we see fine Phil. Phil is a good looking man. Phil is so fine. That's a good, that man is fine to me, y'all. And I wonder if he's still with because his boyfriend was fine too. I said just two good looking people together because, that Brazilian man was good looking, okay? So we see Phil, they're at Blaze. They're there to try new food that they added to the menu. And while they're talking, Todd talking about he want to open up a Mexican restaurant and a pizzeria. I said, no, you don't need to open up no Mexican restaurant. I don't know about the pizzeria. I feel like the pizzeria could be lucrative, especially if they put it in a college town or an up and coming town. Could be nice because honestly with pizzerias, you can make money off of that. But I feel as though like we need to make our now businesses successful, our restaurant successful before we start trying to make other things. Because everything I've heard from people who have gone to Old Lady Gang, both like, because I know they have two establishments, and Blaze, they tell me this stuff is mediocre. Like it's mediocre. Like it's not really worth going to. Like you can go to other places. It's more of a touristy thing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it being touristy, but like they're not, is the reputation of your place isn't good. And then Old Lady Gang keep getting, sprayed, for lack of a better word. They keep spraying the block on you. They keep coming around. They keep spinning the block. So it's kind of like, get that together. Because the only good thing I've heard about Old Lady Gang is that the drinks are good and the fried deviled eggs are the only things I've heard is good about Old Lady Gang. And then with, what's it called? With Blaze, I've just heard that the drinks are good, but the food ain't that great. So I'm just kind of like, you should work on that. Like when Todd comes up with these ideas, I don't think they're bad, but then I often wonder, does he have ADHD? Because the thing about ADHD is, you start tasks, and once you think they're okay, you jump to another one. Instead of making that one thing you started perfect, you jump to another one. And it gives that with Todd for me. So I was just kind of like, does Todd have ADHD? Because it's kind of giving that. So we see Melvin. Melvin comes out, and we know Melvin got shot, and we glad he's still here. And they're talking, but they're kind of like skating around. And the production comes out and it's like, y'all not gonna talk about the elephant in the room? And then Todd and Candy are like, well, it's legal. We don't know if we can talk about it. We don't want to jeopardize anything. But the story they give us is pretty much, there was an employee that came in. They were drunk. They got disgruntled. I guess him and Melvin got into it, and then he shot Melvin in the arm. And I ain't gonna lie, when Sheree said, we don't know if we getting biscuits or bullets going to Old Lady Gang, I screamed. Because the truth of the matter is, like, as much as they don't want to talk about it, Melvin getting shot is not the first time that happened. Like, there's been three or two other stories I've heard about Old Lady Gang having gun violence issues. So it's like, y'all need to get that under control before we start making other businesses. As well as a lot of people were online being like, well, because everyone was happy to see Melvin. Everyone was happy to see Philip. Everyone was like, oh, they need to bring back, is it Old Lady Gang, the show? I think they should. But I've also been seeing a lot of people being like, don't nobody want to go to work with with worrying about they might get, shot. We already deal with that living in America. So if you can cut down on that, then we could cut down on that. So they have to make their work environment safer. I don't know if that's the reason why they didn't continue Old Lady Gang. Or Candy in the Gang. I wish they did, because I thought the show was actually good, in my opinion. But yeah. They got to figure it out. Next scene we see is of Kenya and Brooklyn going to meet with, I think her name is Kaylani, and her daughter. We find out that Kaylani is a wag, and her and Kenya have just become friends, and they've really connected with each other, and Kenya really likes her. So I feel like they auditioning Kaylani to be a friend of the show, or possibly a new wife of the show. But she is a wag, and if you don't know what wag is, it pretty much stands for wives and girlfriends of sports players or athletes. We see her husband. Her husband is what's that man's name? Tevin Coleman. He a running back. I don't know what he played for, but it's cute. Kenya starts talking about her relationship with Sheree and Rio and the whole situation with Martel. Kaylani is taken aback that she's like, that was your first time meeting Martel, and he did all of that. So yeah. And, Kenya's like, I'm going to have to talk to Sheree, because me and Sheree are good friends, and I didn't like that she didn't really stick up for me. But it was cute to see Brooklyn and the little girl running around the tennis court. We then see Sheree and Sonya meet up, and they start talking. We find out that Sheree is a grandma. She calls herself a grandma. I'm not bothered by the term grandma, but I do feel like it's kind of a cringe title, because it's like, you're a grandmother. Just be a grandmother. Why do you need to be called grandma? Because it's giving that, like, you don't want to be called that, like, because it signifies that you're old, which it's a good thing to get old. That means you're still alive and not dead in the dirt. But hey, She want to be called like grandma. So we see the little baby. They start talking about Sheree and Kenya and the whole situation because Sonya wasn't over there when the whole situation happened. Sonya still feels some type of way that Kenya called her man aggressive. And how she was just like, we need to stop labeling black men this. And I'm like, that's a touchy subject. It's a touchy subject because black people can be aggressive. Black people can be aggressive, and we shouldn't be skating around words. Like, if you was aggressive, you's aggressive. A thing. But it's also that, like, we also know that that word can also be used against us, even when we're in the right. So I know people try to get away from it, but call a thing a thing. Like, I didn't think what Ross did was aggressive, but I thought it was a bit much. It was a bit much yelling at them people. But I don't think what he did was that aggressive. I do think Martel got aggressive closer to the end of the argument. But again, I feel like everybody was matching everybody's energy. I'm just going to call it that. So, Sonya is taken back once Sheree says that, Martel said, I don't care if I tried to F you 2 years ago. Sonya is like, he really said that? But Sheree was like, I need to talk to Kenya because, like, we are at a point in our relationship where we need to have a conversation because that's my friend. And then we see is it Kaylani? Kaylani saying the same thing, like, y'all should definitely have a conversation. But what's bothering me about Kenya right now is Kenya's giving Rio, I think that's that man's name, she giving being in a relationship too much weight. And I don't like seeing Kenya like that because I'm oftentimes seeing Kenya be very, like, a femme fatale, or like very like, I am woman, hear me roar. But I guess it's kind of weird to me how, like, she's giving this man all this props about, he's making me feel like a woman again. You've always been a woman, girl. You just in a bad place. Like, I feel like it's weird to give someone that much credit. Because I don't like when men do it either, when they were like, she makes me feel like a man. Like, you should already feel that way. I don't know. But, we happy to see Kenya happy. We happy to see her happy. So we have this scene of Drew and Ralph in the studio. I said this on Twitter, and I'll say it again. It makes sense why Ralph in the divorce wants part of her music money, because he all up and through it. At first, I thought he was just doing it to be spiteful, but you got him writing songs for you. He's playing melodies. He gonna get half that money, sis. Either, like, you're gonna have to let that go, or like, see, that's why you don't let everybody in your business like that. Because they're dancing. She was doing a lot in that music studio. The way Drew was singing, it gave me cringe when she was like doing her head and trying to, I was like, stop. But, they're having a good time. We then see Sheree at her distribution spot. And, the hoodies are cute. The hoodies and the jogger sets are cute, but it's a no for me. I'm not giving nobody like $200 for no sweatsuit. I wouldn't even give Beyonce that. So we see Kenya, not Kenya, but yeah, we do. We see Kenya pop up. We find out this is when she was filming that Super Bowl commercial with the Dallas Cowboys with Kyle and Teresa. And she was saying how much fun she was having with that. It was funny because Sheree, before Kenya got there, was upset about her product being wrinkled. And the lady was like, well, if you want us to iron it, that's extra. I said, I know. No, yes. Girl, ain't nobody doing all of that. Ain't nobody doing all of that. We then see Kim Pyre. Y'all know who he is. He's on YouTube. It's so weird to me that nowadays YouTubers, like, their stuff is being held for like weight. I don't know if I said that correctly. Because I just remember back in the day, like, when like reality TV was like really like coming up, that anytime someone would say something on YouTube or on blogs, people wouldn't take it like for weight. Like, they would just be like, oh, it's just some frivolous blog. But nowadays, when we see stuff on the blogs, we be like, oh, no, that's true. Or people rush to like Kim Pyre or like Layla Lynn, or like even other people on like the app, like Scotty and Ashley, Bonnie, yeah, everybody, people rush to these people online to like get their tea because they're like, oh no, they got the tea. I just think that's funny to me. That like to see the shift in how we consume media. So Kenya's there, they get to talking, and honestly, Sheree's a bird. And I get her wanting Kenya to take ownership because I do feel like Kenya going over there wasn't needed when they were already in a heated conversation. But I understand from Kenya's perspective, who she was in a DV situation, like I said, with cracked out mats with them bug-eyed eyes, that you don't let that stuff slide because you know it could get worse. So I feel like Kenya was in the right to tell her, like, girl, you need to check him. And that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. And like, it should be bros before hoes. Like, sis, like, you should never pick a dude over your friends. And Sheree is trying to, I don't understand why Sheree is trying to advocate so hard for Martel. And this whole thing about, like, y'all don't see the real him. We've seen the real him on his show. Like I told you, I actively don't watch that show, but I've seen the way he's acted and behaved outside of the show. So if you don't want to take what happens on the show for face value, you can take the things that happen outside of the show and be like, yeah, he seems like a horrible person. And then finding out that he's a Capricorn like me, oh, you don't know when to let it go. I will tell you, sometimes we just don't know when to let it go. We don't. And I'm just like, and I know we are terrorists. We could be menaces to society. I know we can. I used to not think that till I met a Capricorn man. And I was like, no wonder the girls be out here saying y'all put them through hell. No wonder they do that. You get with an unevolved Capricorn. Horrible. Horrible. But that was the end. Like, Kenya and her basically agree to disagree. And Sheree feels like Kenya should take some type of ownership because she was like, you kicked it off. Kenya's like, no, sis, your man's aggressive and he was doing a lot. I tell you, I felt like it was stupid to begin with. But Kenya and Martel, again, I'm going to say, because I keep saying through this video, they was matching each other's energy. You was going to get disrespectful and I was going to get disrespectfuler. That's it. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.